From Comerica Park in downtown Detroit, we're set for Chicago Cubs baseball on NBC Sports Chicago. Tonight, the Cubs and the Tigers open up a quick two-game interleague series. And great to have you with us on this Tuesday night alongside Jim DeShays. I'm Len Kasper. We'll get to the matchup tonight, but the big news today, Daniel Murphy is now a Chicago Cub as they have acquired him from the Washington Nationals.
Cubs front office strikes again. They added Cole Hamels. He's been outstanding. Daniel Murphy, one of the best pure hitters in the game. He's been swinging a hot bat of late. He has enjoyed great success at Wrigley Field. Cubs fans know all about what he did in the postseason there. 407 lifetime batter at Wrigley, but just such a good, solid pro line drive hitter. Uses the whole field. This is something the Cubs have been preaching all year long.
Would imagine he will be here and in the lineup tomorrow night for Game 2 of this series. And the Cubs playing the American League Central. The whole division does. It's been a weak division this year, and maybe they can take advantage.
Historically bad. The American League Central has struggled against everybody. Everybody in the NL Central has a winning record against the American League Central this year, including the Cubs, who have taken full advantage. 10-5 record, scoring almost 6 runs per game.
Kyle Hendricks will face the Tigers for the second time this season. A no decision back on July 3rd. The Cubs swept that two-game series at Wrigley, and he's been pitching much better here as of late.
Yeah, he's really been throwing the ball well. Changeup was really good last time out. The Cubs have won 6 of his last 7 starts. He got the win last time out against Milwaukee back at Wrigley. We take a look at his last 3 road starts. He's 2-0 with a 1.77 earned run average.
Veteran right-hander Jordan Zimmermann struggling. He'll go for the Tigers. First time he has faced the Cubs in a Detroit uniform. Yu Darvish out for the rest of the season with a stress reaction in his right elbow. So a very newsy day from Detroit as the Cubs are here for the first time since 2015. We'll have interleague play, AL, NL, Cubs and Tigers coming up next.
baseball.
That's Joe Madden on the Cubs' new acquisition. Not in the lineup, not here yet, but would expect him here tomorrow in the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Albert Almora leading off in center. Jason Hayward in right, batting second. Baez, the all-star third. Anthony Rizzo, you see his career numbers against Jordan Zimmerman in the cleanup spot. Zobrist fifth. Schwarber playing left. He originally was going to DH. David Bodie's at third. Wilson Contreras catching and hitting eighth. Tommy LaStella, the DH. Addison Russell has right shoulder inflammation, so he was scratched from the Cubs lineup.
Tigers defensively, and it's brought to you by BP. Mikey Matuk plays left field tonight. Victor Reyes is in center. Nicholas Castellanos plays right field. Our old buddy Jamer Candelario, is at third. Iglesias, the shortstop, is a good one. Nico Goodrum is the second stacker. Jim Adduci plays first. James McCann, really good at shutting down the running game, is behind the plate. And the Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Jordan Zimmerman, the veteran right-hander. Spent some time on the DL earlier this year. He's made 17 starts. He's won 5, lost 5, has a .436 earned run average. Long ball has been an issue. You see he's allowed 16 home runs, 88 2/3 innings of work.
So Zimmerman to Almora, and a first pitch fastball for a strike. The leadoff man is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. If Almora gets a hit, Binny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
Zimmerman's always been very aggressive, throws a high percentage of first pitch strikes. He's doing it these days without the stuff he featured back in Washington 3 or 4 years ago when he was making all-star teams.
And Almora strikes out to start the game. Here's your umpire and crew. It's Sean Barber behind the plate. Alfonso Marquez is the crew chief at first. James Hoy at second. Quinn Walcott is at third.
4-pitch mix for Zimmerman. Fastball, slider, curve, and change. He's been at 92. He's averaging right around there this year. Back when he's with the Nationals, he was more like 94.
Him like a, I think I'm on there. In the air, out in the left center, coming over is Reyes, and he'll grab it for out number 2.
This is year 3 of a 5-year deal that Zimmerman signed prior to the 16 season, $110 million. He was really good with the Nationals, where he had a .332 ERA. Since joining the Tigers, his earned run average is about 2 runs higher. He's 22 and 25 with a .529 in a Tiger uniform.
Javier Baez bangs one off the mask of the catcher McCann. Well, there's some cold hitters in this lineup. Almora 157 over his last 21 games coming in. Baez 158, 1 RBI his last 10. Contreras 159 over his last 13. There's a base hit to left. That'll keep the first inning alive for Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, Rizzo and Zobrist have really been carrying the load, such as it is for the Cubs these days. 711 on-base plus slugging since the All-Star break, ranks just 12th in the National League, as does the .239 team batting average in the month of August.
Mentioned Rizzo 5 for 12 with a home run against Zimmerman, but it's been a while. Zimmerman last faced the Cubs when he was pitching for Washington. There's a strike. Fastball 92. How about this?
Yeah.
This is the 24th game the Cubs and Tigers have played in the regular season. So 23 in all going in. They've played each other 23 times in the World Series. As Baez had a big lead, takes off, and Rizzo hits one deep to right and way foul. The Cubs won the World Series in 1907 and 08 over Detroit. The Tigers returned the favor in 1935 and 1945.
That is a fun factoid.
Two strikes on Rizzo. Top of the first, just underway. And a ground ball, and Iglesias can't get it. Goodrum just knocks it down. Baez trying to make it to third, and he will. Goodrum made the right decision, I think, to not throw that ball as Zimmerman and Candelario were trying to race over there, but he didn't want to make a bad throw and allow Baez to score.
Yeah, he was tempted. It's kind of like a quarterback being flushed out of the pocket trying to make a decision whether to throw the high-risk pass or not. He thought about it a couple of times, opted not to. This ball had eyes just beyond the reach of Iglesias. Goodrum can't handle it, and as we see Baez do so many times, taking full advantage. One peek, sees nobody's home at third base, and off he goes.
Here's Zobrist. Back-to-back two-out singles. And Ben looks at a strike. What a bizarre four-game series the Cubs had in Pittsburgh. They hit a solo home run each day, Thursday through Sunday. That was it for their offense, and they won two of the four. Fortunately, they pitched really well.
Yeah, pitchers really stepped up when they needed them, and hopefully that trend will continue and the bats can start to fire back up here a little bit. Obviously, the addition of Daniel Murphy should help.
That hit Baez, but in foul territory. Two strikes on Zobrist. 76 degrees here in Detroit. A little rain earlier and a threat of rain tonight, but so far so good. And it looks like a lot of Cubs fans are in this ballpark. They were here early for batting practice. Knocked down by McCann. Baez was ready to pounce.
Since joining the Tigers, I mentioned Zimmerman's numbers not good. He's also dealt with some injury issues. You know, mentally, I've always liked this guy. He's a bulldog. He really attacks. 32 years of age. I would not be surprised to see him to come back and pitch at a high level again. Lose a couple clicks off that fastball. Sometimes it takes a while to make the adjustment to change the mix of pitches a little bit, be a little less aggressive in the strike zone.
Popped him up. Candelario keeps his feet moving and he'll make the catch. A little stumble at the end. Cubs strand a couple, and the Tigers are coming up against Kyle Hendricks when we come back to Detroit. League Central. And their Southwest starting lineup, former Cub Jeimer Candelario in the leadoff spot. Iglesias Castellanos, the reigning American League Player of the Week. Nico Goodrum cleans up. Probably the last season for Victor Martinez, who will likely retire at season's end. Jim Adduci, a nice story at 33 years old, playing first base, filling in for Miguel Cabrera. Mikey Matuk in left, hitting 7th. The catcher, McCann, 8th. Reyes, the center fielder, 9th.
Cubs defensively brought to you by BP. Schwarber, Almora, Hayward across the outfield. Bodie Baez. Rizobrist on the right side of the infield. Contreras behind the plate. Kyle Hendricks just feathered in strike 1 with an 85-mile-an-hour sinker. He is your Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher.
The Tigers have 4 switch hitters in their lineup here tonight as Hendricks looks for his 10th win.
He was a winner last time out against Milwaukee. Worked 6+, allowed 4 runs. 2 scored while he was in the game. He left with a couple on base. They came around to score, counted against his record. But really threw the ball well in that game. He struck out 8, walked 2. He had not walked a man in his previous 3 starts.
Both Milwaukee and St. Louis won games last night. This is trouble, and it's going to drop in front of Almora. And Candelario trying to make second, and he's going to get in. A very aggressive base running play by Candelario, and it pays off.
Yeah, I think you got to glove that ball. He would not have gone for second base had Albert not mishandled this thing. Little blooper, you see he's not really running hard. He's watching this play develop. Albert comes in and has to pull up and then tries to barehand it. Can't secure it, and that's when Candelario sees the moment.
I'm guessing they will give him a double. And it brings up the shortstop, Iglesias. And the Cubs have their corner men pulled in against a possible bunt. But Jose takes off the inside corner for a ball. The Brewers Cardinals winning last night. Milwaukee 3 back, St. Louis 3.5 out. Are we thinking single and an error?
That's what I would have said. But
well, I think because Candelario never really stopped.
Yeah, but he was not running hard. I don't think it was until Albert didn't handle it that he took off. I think flip a coin.
You pitchers.
Well, I just think regardless of the scoring of it, I think it's a play you got to just go ahead and glove the ball.
Yeah. I'm with you. 1-1 is a strike. Yeah, so right there has that look of a bloop single, and then you're right, he turned it on right there.
Yeah, and it's one of those plays as an outfielder, you're trying to get as close as you can to give yourself a chance to make a play, and you got a little bit of a tough hop.
Base hit to left. Candelario will be held at third. Dave Clark was basically going to make Candelario run through him to score. Boy, Dave, very aggressive over there. He was almost in fair territory, putting on the stop sign.
Well, he's a former Gold Glove boxer, so you don't want to run through Dave Clark. You might pay a price. Clarky, yep, right here. No further, young man.
And that's a former Cub.
Third base coach, you have to be aggressive there because with that throw coming in from the left fielder, if you let that guy take a big turn, he's vulnerable to throw coming in behind him.
So some early trouble for Hendricks. And a red-hot Nicholas Castellanos hit .393 last week. Had a 5-hit game against the White Sox, and he's the American League Player of the Week. And a ground ball, backhanded Baez, and he'll throw to first, and he just got him. Made the right call. He would not have gotten Candelario at the plate. It'll be an RBI ground out, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch that play develop because Javi put himself in a position where he could have made a play at the plate. Watch how he pursues this ball. So he's trying to play it on the backhand. He thinks about it and then decides, you know what, it's early in the ball game. Let's make sure we get an out here and don't give the Tigers an opportunity for a real big inning.
Not sure why Jeimer looked back once he took off. That's That natural reaction a lot of base runners have that tends to slow you down. Here's the switch hitting Goodrum, and he takes a curveball low for ball one. The Tigers don't get on base much. They have the second worst on base percentage in the majors at .300. 27th among the 30 teams in runs per game, 3.87. But they are 2 games over at home. They have had a real rough year away from Comerica Park, 19-44 on the road.
June 17th, they were 36-37, a game under 500, just 2.5 behind Cleveland. Since then, they've gone 15-37.
Well, they've been without future Hall of Famer Miguel Cabrera for much of the year with a ruptured left biceps tendon, dealing with some rotation injuries. And they were not really expected to compete in the AL Central after a rough year last year. Hendricks over to cover. Rizzo will get it to him. 2 gone. Runner at third. Now the DH Victor Martinez, who has made indications recently that this will be his final year. And as you look ahead for the Tigers, his $18 million salary will come off the books after the season, but they owe Zimmerman and Cabrera a lot of money over the next few seasons. They owe Zimmerman $50 million over the next 2 years. Starting next year, JD, they owe Miguel Cabrera $154 million over the next 5 seasons.
Yeah, that's
a lot of money for 2 guys.
Yeah, it's a bit of an issue. You know, they had a real nice run here. They were doing a lot of winning. That's why they went out and got Zimmerman and add to their core. Just shows how quickly things can turn around for a franchise.
But it all goes in cycles. The Royals had their run after the Tigers. The Indians are having their run now. The White Sox feel like they're poised to do some really good things the next few seasons. That's a base hit for Martinez. And it's 2-0 as Iglesias scores. Victor Martinez at 39 years old can still hit.
Yeah, he's been
good
swinging
since the break.
pretty well here lately as well. This is a change-up. Outer third, but up a little bit. And he's got that nice smooth swing, stays in the zone a long time. So Kyle's had some first inning issues this year. A lot of times it's been the long ball. Not really giving up a lot of solid contact here in the first.
His first inning earned run average is almost 8. It's .331 after that. Ducey bounces to Rizzo, and Martinez maybe tried to screen Anthony as he didn't take off immediately. So Kyle not happy with himself. It's 2-0 Detroit after an inning. Mets are up next. Tickets are still available for this homestand, especially Friday and Sunday's matchups with the Cincinnati Ball Club. Get your tickets at Cubs.com. So starting tonight, the next 9 are against teams with losing records. But it's also the start of 23 in a row without an off day, and the Cubs will play their final 39 games over a 41-day stretch. Zimmerman's 0-1 to Schwarber. Missed the inside corner. Kyle was going to DH, but with Russell scratched, he's now in left. Hit hard on the ground and through. Third hit for the Cubs.
Rizzo and Schwarber both pulling the ball on the ground to the right side, but finding a little seam in the defense. Schwarber's ball hit sharply through into right field. Anthony's was more of a seeing eye hit, but a hit is a hit. Schwarber was the Cubs MVP, at least offensively, in the series in Pittsburgh, with 2 solo home runs of the 4 that they hit.
David Bodie looking for his first hit on the road trip. He is 0 for his last 14. So you were in on Jordan Zimmerman when he was with the Nationals. You were
big fan,
big fan of his, but it just has not gone well here in Detroit. His home ERA with the Tigers is over 6. And that is by far his worst ERA in any ballpark with more than 5 starts. That's hard to explain.
Yeah, well, he was overall last year. He posted a 6.08, I believe, was his ERA for the full season last year. Made 29 starts, finished 8-13. In his first year in a Tiger uniform, 2016, he was injured, made 18 starts. Got off to a great start. He was the pitcher of the month in April. His first month with the Tigers, so he was off and rolling, and everybody was like, hey, what a great acquisition. And it hasn't been quite as good. The fastball velocity's down a couple clicks. Shoulder impingement sent him to the DL this year for about 5 weeks.
He was very fortunate in April. He got hit by a line drive in the face. Bodie swings and misses, but avoided a broken jaw and a DL stint because he has a couple protective plates in his mouth due to a similar incident when he was in college. So I guess when he had the plates and the screws inserted, the doctor said, you won't break your jaw again. And he was right. And he strikes out Bodie.
A pretty good depth on that slider right there. A curveball. His second strikeout. Yeah, that's pretty remarkable. Curve on the plate, but dipping down below the knees.
And he went to a small college, Wisconsin at Stevens Point, and he's from a tiny village in central Wisconsin, Auburndale, population of under 1,000. He still lives there in the off season. So he's a cheesehead. Contreras with 1 out and a man on. Cubs trail 2-0 here in the second. Ball 1.
Now, when you say he's a cheesehead, does it have a positive or negative connotation, or just neutral?
If you were from the Upper Peninsula, you'd be a Youper. It's just what you say.
Kevin Tapani was a Youper.
Right. I believe some people call Illinois residents flatlanders. Have you heard that term?
Really? No, yeah. I have not.
That's a strike.
Wilson, another one of those Cub hitters who's been scuffling. He's in the 8-hole here tonight. See a lot of, you try to eliminate the past in this game. You don't want one game to influence the next and carry over, but you already see it. Some head shaking, slamming of bats, the frustration been bubbling over here for a few days now.
And he whiffs. Now that's 3 early strikeouts for Zimmerman. And it's up to Tommy La Stella. Schwarber started the inning with a base hit. He's still at first with 2 outs. Want to know on Tommy. Tigers got 2 in the first off Kyle Hendricks.
They got a shift down here for Tommy. I don't know that we see many clubs do this with Listella up there, but you see Candelario has moved over to the right side of the infield, joining Goodrum and Adducci.
StatCast AI powered by AWS. Slap foul on the ground. A pretty good amount of foul territory here at Comerica Park. This is a huge ballpark. When they built it, it was kind of the anti-Tiger Stadium, which was very intimate and vertical and enclosed. This is very open, spacious. And they actually, over the years, have changed the dimensions. When it was built, in the first few years, they called it Comerica National Park. Still 420 to straightaway center field. It was, I think, 440 at the old place, but they've now put the bullpens out in an area that used to be the warning track and left.
Yeah, whiny hitters.
Zimmerman strikes out Listella. He's been sharp early. Cubs with 3 hits, but no runs after an inning and a half.
Chicago, presented by Chick-fil-A. Join Ozzie Gee and Doug Glanville and Layla Rahimi as they break down the biggest story surrounding the Cubs and White Sox. Thursday at 6:30 on NBC Sports Chicago.
Well, Kyle gave up a couple in the first. And he'll try to settle in here facing Mikey Matuk. Hendricks pitching in this ballpark for the first time. Matuk went 3 for 3 against him at Wrigley Field on July 3rd, but hitting just 184 on the season. Foul pop that will reach the seats behind the Cubs first base dugout. Mentioned in the open, Yu Darvish will not pitch again this season. He has a stress reaction in his right elbow. So I guess that's kind of a precursor to a fracture. And his Season ended up finishing in May. Pulled into the left field corner, and it's foul. So kind of a lost season for Darvish. He did not pitch after May 20th. Ended up making just 8 starts. And today's news was not surprising in terms of him not pitching again, because after he left his rehab start early on Sunday, I think that's what everyone assumed. It was just a little more specific in terms of the diagnosis, as Hayward will make the catch in foul ground. 1 away.
Yeah, and I don't know what the, if it's just rest and rehab, or if some kind of a procedure will be needed, but
sounds like 6 weeks of rest is the first
before they
order
do
of
anything,
business.
just shut it right down. So the move to go out and acquire Cole Hamels even bigger now that Darvish is definitely done for the year.
James McCann takes low. So what have the Cubs done since the break? They've been busy. Chavez, Kinsler, and De La Rosa added to the bullpen. Hamels to the rotation. And Murphy to the lineup. Sinker strike on the outside edge. And I would expect Daniel Murphy to hit near or at the top of the order. Don't know how it went, but good to see Chris Bryant take regular batting practice on the field with his teammates tonight.
It's a positive sign.
Yep.
As long as he comes out of it okay.
Three and one on McCann. So hopefully things continue to progress well for Chris. A liner into right center. Hayward runs it down.
Of course he does. He always does.
That's what he does. 2 down.
Showing his range in this inning, in on one and then cuts that one off. Ken probably thought, here's a double.
Now rookie Victor Reyes playing center field. Leonis Martin started the year as their center fielder, who was eventually traded to Cleveland, now dealing with a major health issue. Jacoby Jones is on the DL. That gives the young Reyes some extra opportunities. He's 23 years old. Basically a Rule 5 pick. He's getting an opportunity late in the year with a struggling club. And he drills one into center.
Yeah, Reyes, pretty big kid, and as you mentioned, young, just 23. He flashed a little power last year as a minor leaguer, really for the first time in his career, and no doubt that got the Tigers' attention. And when you're in this building mode, you obviously more likely to pluck somebody in a Rule 5 draft and give them a chance to play at the big league level, even if they're not ready yet.
Yeah. When you are where the Tigers are, these at-bats the last 6-7 weeks of the season become pretty valuable for young players. As you say, you look ahead to see what you have for next season. It's tricky, though, with a guy like Victor Martinez, right? Because you want to send him off in the right way. He's kind of earned the opportunity to get some at-bats down the stretch, but there might be a point where those at-bats start to lessen to make sure the kids get some more work.
Yeah, I would think that at some point Gardy would have that conversation with Martinez. Like, how bad do you want to play this final month of the season? And I'm sure he'll get some at-bats, but Martinez might be, you know, I'm good, I'm done. Let me just kind of hang out and counsel these young players.
One strike on Candelario, a leadoff double and a run in the opening inning. Close at first as Rizzo takes a quick look into the dugout. They'll talk to the video room, see what Nate and Now think.
You've seen a lot from Hendricks, one of the better right-handed pickoff moves in the game. Very quick feet, throws usually on the money. Candelario just 208 as a left-handed batter this year.
He went from the Cubs to the Tigers on July 31st of last season. You see that theoretical success possibility for the stolen base. And he takes off, and Candelario fouls. Minor league infielder Isaac Paredes also went to the Tigers. The Cubs got Justin Wilson and Alex Avila. John Lester tomorrow. Francisco Liriano will pitch for Detroit.
Alfonso Marquez, the first base umpire, took a long look at that one. Takes his lead. He wasn't in a real athletic position, was he, out there in his lead? He was kind of upright. A while to react, just barely able to make it back.
The Verizon projected starters. Cubs facing a couple of veterans in this series. Zimmerman tonight and Liriano tomorrow.
John was really good last time out.
Reyes runs again. Candelario swings and misses, and the inning is over on the strikeout. We'll never know if he was out or safe at second. At the end of 2, it's the Tigers 2 and the Cubs nothing. witness with a line shot off the face of Jordan Zimmerman on April 11th. He ended up with just a bruised jaw, and he did not go to the DL, just simply had his next start pushed back a few days. Almost miraculous in that regard, but again, he had steel plates to protect him. As Almora hits a line shot foul. I noticed they've got protective netting well down both foul lines here, well past each dugout, and that liner hit that net down the left field line. Look out. Zimmerman has been sharp. 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. Goodrum ranging to his glove side, got a candy hop at the end and throws out Almora. Easier said than done, but it's about process, right? Staying with your game plan as a hitter. It's not easy to do when you're going through a slump. And we talk often about how guys tend to swing their way out of a batting slump.
Yeah, and it's guys start to press, start to expand their zone. I mean, some of the guys, that's their nature anyway. And, you know, it's very difficult to, you talk about a team-wide slump, and it's not. There's not everybody. Just seems like everybody's struggling. Hayward's been pretty good here lately. Rizzo and Zobrist, I think, continue to have good at-bats. But overall, the number's not pretty. In the last 10 games, hitting just .204, 2.3 runs per game, and a .148 with runners in scoring position.
For their last 18 with men in scoring position, as Goodrum makes this play as well.
But, so every case is individual, and I think that's the challenge for a hitting coach. You can't just kind of have these sweeping generalities. We need to do this, Player X may need to be more patient. Player Y may actually need to be more aggressive. I've talked all year long about Chile and Joe trying to get guys to use the whole field, not be so pull happy. Well, maybe there's some guys that should get on top of the plate, try to turn on the ball and hit it out of the ballpark. When I think about Addy, I remember, Addy has pull power.
Baez is 2 for 2, and both his hits have been 2-out singles in the first and again here in the third.
And you get to the point where certain guys, and you just wonder, well, instead of taking that all-field approach, which generally is a better approach in terms of batting average and on-base percentage, but if it's not working out for an individual, would he be better off trying to just pull the ball with more authority, slug a little bit, even though the on-base percentage and the batting average numbers may be down? I'm just speculating. I don't know the answer to that. Just at times when I watch Addy, I see him on top of the plate, turning on the ball. And he hasn't done that a whole lot this year. And maybe the hand too, the hand injury, and
now dealing with a shoulder issue. So
Joe talked about him the other day. He said he's a pretty quiet kid. He doesn't complain if something's bothering him. That's not going to be front and center with him. He wants to play. So we don't know exactly what any number of these guys might be going through physically.
Baez the other day stole his 20th base of the year. And he is one of 4 players and the only National League player currently with at least 20 homers and 20 steals. Zimmerman home, and the pitch is outside on a fastball. There was an earlier version of Jordan Zimmerman, but he was left-handed. I'm sure he still is, and he only had 1 N at the end of his surname. And he pitched for Seattle, I believe, in 1999.
Kind of like Glenn Campbell with 2 N's and Mayberry. Ooh, I was getting ready to say good take. Tiki Barber called it a strike.
The other Jordan Zimmerman, the brother of Jeff. Remember Jeff Zimmerman, who was an all-star
relief pitcher, right?
First year in the big leagues and only ended up appearing in 3 seasons. That was with Texas. And time called.
See, that last one was a Rizzo strike. Happens to him a lot because he's so close to the plate. The perspective for the umpires, the proximity to the hitter, as opposed to seeing the ball as it relates to home plate. And when that pitch gets called, Anthony really loses the advantage that he gains by crowding the plate.
Fouled back in our direction. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Anthony Rizzo. We're in the 3rd inning. Tigers lead 2-0. Two of the best strike throwers in the game. We probably should have put an over-under on total walks for these starters tonight. Hendricks and Zimmerman. Jordan Zimmerman, this is amazing. At one point in his career, he went over 885 innings between consecutive walks, 2012 to 2017.
That is remarkable. He's walked his 16 this year, 88 2/3 innings of work. He's walked 1 or none. Well, in 14 of his 17 starts.
That can be a problem at times too, right? If you throw too many hittable strikes.
Well, that's what I mean. Because he's not the guy he once was. He's not throwing 94, 95 like he did in Washington.
You often hear, don't nibble. Maybe he needs to nibble a little more.
Yeah, so aggressiveness in baseball can sometimes can be an overrated attribute.
Rizzo giving him a battle. And he strikes out. And the Cubs are done in the 3rd. Zimmerman with at least 1 punch out in each of the first 3 innings. It's still 2-0. and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Special welcome to all our viewers watching on La Harpe Video and Data Services in La Harpe, Illinois tonight. Iglesias flies to Hayward. Underway here in the home half of the third. And now Castellanos, who knocked in the first run of the ball game, an RBI ground out in the first. We're hoping to run into Alan Trammell here this week. I know he's here. The new Hall of Famer will have his number retired this weekend. Former Cubs bench coach. He and Jack Morris going into the Hall of Fame a few weeks ago. So 47 recently retired, and number 3 will join it on Sunday. The White Sox are here this weekend, so it's all Chicago this week here in Detroit. This was his no-hitter at Comiskey Park, 1984, when the Tigers won the World Series. Great competitor. And then everyone thinks about Game 7 of the 1991 World Series, pitching for his hometown Twins when he went 10 innings. One and two on Castellanos.
Yeah, the story goes, and
it's true. Randy Bush says it happened.
I know he does. Others do as well, and I hope it's true. That Dick Such, the pitching coach for the Twins, approached Jack after the 9th because Tom Kelly told Suchy, Jack's done. We're going to let Aggie pitch, or whoever was out in the bullpen. And Jack said, well, if he does, there's going to be 2 of us standing out there in the mound when the inning starts, and Tom's going to have a problem. And TK supposedly said, oh, well, it's just a game. Let him go. We're only playing ball here, folks. Man wants to pitch, let him pitch.
Weren't too many times Sparky let him stay in, though. Captain Hook. They had a few disagreements on the mound, didn't they?
Yeah, well, Sparky was he was kind of ahead of his time with the bullpen usage. Yeah.
Everything down in this at bat, and this one is wide for the first walk of the night.
Book your summer getaway today to Chicago or Washington, D.C., and let us do the planning for you. Cubs destination travel packages include tickets, hotel accommodations, ballpark tours, Cubs swag, and a private meet and greet with a current player. For more information, visit Cubs.com/destinations.
Goodrum with the man on and 1 out. Want to play a little uniform trivia?
Ready?
Okay. So the Tigers have a classic home look, right?
Yep, they do.
There's not a whole lot going on there, but you know they changed their uniforms this season? Can you tell me what they did?
They did something different to this uniform.
Yes.
Oh, wow. This is fun. Spot the difference.
There are 2 things different about the Tiger home uniform than in previous seasons.
That's like that thing in the newspaper when you have the 2 panels and you have to pick out the differences.
What do you got? I asked Justin Wilson the same question, and he didn't notice. And he wore this uniform last year.
Is there something funky going on with the D?
You're getting close.
The D looks a little different to me.
I'll give you the answer after the pitch. Castellanos runs, swing and a miss, throw to second. Out. Strike him out. Throw him out. Double play. And we'll give you the answer after the break, I promise. 2-0 Tigers at the end of 3 from Comerica Park. later in tonight's game. Strike him out, throw him out, double play to get out of the third inning. So it's Zobrist, Schwarber, and Bodie here in the Cubs' fourth. And a strike. So the D on the Tigers' hats and helmets is bigger than it used to be. That's the first change.
Yeah, that hat D, clearly bigger.
The other change is the jersey D now matches what they have on the caps and the helmets. The old English D, and I don't mean just OLDE, the old D was more rounded. It did not match. See? It's got more of a rounded look. And now it's got the little points on the edges.
That's a very flashy D. There's a lot going on there.
But you would not have noticed that change had I not mentioned it.
No.
Interesting.
Oh gosh, no. I could walk out of my condo, walk into the parking garage, start to drive my car, and it'd be the wrong car, and it'd take me half an hour before I realized it.
You could have a green car and it would be a gold car. Zimmerman.
What color's your car? I don't know.
So two guys who don't walk anybody have each walked a guy. And the batter is Kyle Schwarber.
So shift again here for Schwarber, but because the double play's in order, everybody's on the dirt, nobody out there in shallow right.
Taken for a strike. How about the Pirates lost again last night, 1-0. Their third 1-0 loss since Thursday. They've given up a run per game, 1 run in each of the last 5 days, and have gone 2-3. Lost to the Braves last night.
Yeah, Braves threw out another rookie, right? Some 20-year-old kid pitched for them last night. I want to say I read it was like the third 20-year-old they've had to make their debut this
Wilson.
year.
Yep. One serve to Schwarber, and it just missed.
6 different Bravos combined to pitch that shutout against the Pirates.
Not only did the Nationals trade Daniel Murphy to the Cubs, Matt Adams was claimed, and he's now back with the St. Louis Cardinals. So the fire sale, I guess, has begun in D.C.
Well, there was talk that Bryce Harper had been claimed by the Dodgers, and that there was talks on some level between the two clubs about trying to do a deal. I don't know how far they went or if that's true or not, but that was bouncing around out there.
Zimmerman this year, an opening day starter for the first time. Popped up by Kyle. Only 2 guys over there, and it's going to be caught. Sliding grab by Matuk. So the Cubs are shifting, or the Tigers are shifting against the Cubs. And so the only infielder who had a play was Candelario, but it ended up being Matuk making the sliding catch, and their feet almost got tangled up.
Yeah, that could have gotten very ugly for the Tigers, who lofts this ball into shallow left field. Candelario kind of overplays it. Matuk comes in at the end to bail him out. Jamer had issues with the pop-up back in the first inning. And there's a little breeze out there, but it's not a strong wind. It's not a mighty wind.
No, it's not. Bodie with Zobrist still at first. First pitch strike. Here comes an 0-1. It's in there again. Yeah, as good as Jordan Zimmermann has been at times with the Nationals, I was surprised that it was his first opening day start this season with Detroit, but then I remembered Strasburg and Scherzer. So he was always kind of the, not even the runner-up. He was the honorable mention.
Yeah, and underrated because of it, much like Gio Gonzalez over there behind Scherzer and Strasburg and Tanner Roark, for that matter. Roark's been one of the best pitchers in the league in the second half. Against the Cubs, not a lot of success for Zimmermann. 1-5 with a 4.58.
And if you go back here to 2008, prior to this season, Justin Verlander made the opening day start every year but one. Over the previous decade, David Price was their opening day man in 2015. And if you can name the opening day starter prior to Justin Verlander in 08, I'll give you $5. Their 2007 opening day starter.
Mike Maroth.
That's a good guess.
Jeremy Bonderman was my next guess. You owe me $2.50.
No, it was all or nothing.
One and in, one and done. One of those guys, did they lose 20 or they flirted with the 20 loss season, right?
A 20-game loser at one point. 21 games he lost in 03. Flipped it. Wow. Iglesias, I don't know what he was doing as Zobrist had been running on the play. They had no play at second. He flipped a Goodrum. Everybody's safe. First and third. Big mistake by normally a very solid shortstop.
Yeah, just a big gamble on his part because the pace with which he tried to flip that ball, you know, he knew Zobrist was on the move, but for some reason thought he could still get him. Watch how quickly he tries to go here, but there was no play to be made. Zobrist would have beat it even with an accurate feed.
So it should be fielder's choice and an error on Iglesias. And that gives Contreras a chance. Ball one. Unbelievable, isn't it? He's got more than half of his seasonal home runs against this division. In the other league, 4-6-3. So Zimmermann gets out of it. Still 2-0 Detroit.
Professors around with 100+ majors. What are you waiting for? Find your blue. Apply for free until October 1st.
You can go where Larry Bird went to college. Victor Martinez with a 2-out run scoring hit in the first inning, and he takes a strike.
Did Larry start at Indiana? He didn't get along with Bobby Knight, right?
That sounds right.
Huh. That's a shocker.
Speaking of the Upper Peninsula, I was in the UP watching the big finals, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
Oh, yeah?
I remember that very well. Back in '79, Martinez is 2 for 2. He's hitting like he doesn't want to come out of the lineup.
Yeah. Well, as they say, like a star before it disappears, right? Shines its brightest. He's got one more big run in him here towards the end of his career.
A Ducey 0 for 1. Came in hitting .362 here in August. Jim had spent some time in the Cubs system a few years ago. And he swings away and hoists to left. It'll be Schwarber. Following every Sunday day game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger can run the bases, weather permitting. The next kids Sunday game is this weekend against the Reds. For tickets and more info on how to receive a wristband for your child to run the bases, visit Cubs.com/kids. One note on that Red Series coming up. Joey Votto, who is currently on the disabled list, is eligible to return on Sunday. Ma took a strike.
But not until Sunday.
Correct.
Well, that's a good thing. Well, yeah, and you mentioned it earlier. Cubs playing 9 consecutive against losing teams, and teams not just losing but with really bad records. But we know what the Reds can do when they get it going. They score a lot of runs. If they pitch pretty well, they're tough to beat.
They're in Milwaukee again tonight as Rizzo makes the catch in foul territory, 2 down.
And likewise, the Mets have been scoring a ton of runs lately. And if you run into DeGrom, Syndergaard, Wheeler, that's a tough assignment.
Well, look, the best of the best record-wise right now are in the American League, right? The Red Sox. Houston has struggled lately, but Oakland, the Yankees, they've all been great. But the National League has been much more competitive, top to bottom. And only one of those American League teams will make it to the World Series. So I feel like there's an assumption that whoever wins the American League pennant is just going to roll over the National League team in the World Series, but that's not how this game works.
That's not the nature of postseason baseball. You do the playoff projections, the odds makers. Yeah, the Red Sox are going to be favored given what they've done. Anything can happen in a short series. It's kind of fun. You look at those websites that do all the predictions on the postseason and who's the likelihood that a team gets in. The Yankees are a 99% chance to make the playoffs with a 3% chance to win their division. Maybe it's even gone down.
Yeah, and pre-wild card, they'd be already looking ahead to next year almost.
They're playing .629 baseball. Second best record in the major leagues, and they're 9 games behind the Sox.
Ground ball to short. They'll get the out at second, and that's it. We'll head to the 5th. Tigers with those 2 early runs lead 2-0.
home of the Detroit Tigers.
The late Ernie Harwell. That's Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Ernie began his big league career in Brooklyn in 1948, but known as the voice of the Tigers, 1960 to 91, and then later from 93 to 2002. And then voice of baseball here in Michigan. He had that Georgia twang, but everyone always thought of him as Detroit's own.
He was traded as a minor league broadcaster.
He was from Atlanta to Brooklyn for Cliff Dapper, right? A catcher.
Working for the Atlanta Crackers.
And his longtime radio partner was Paul Carey. He's a dribbler back to Zimmerman. Paul had, as Ernie called it, the voice of God, and they were a great duo. The Tigers had not won the World Series since 1984. And we mentioned earlier 2 against the Cubs. And I guess Vince Lodel, our associate producer, has put together a list of the top offensive performers in Tigers history, ranked by wins above replacement. And I told him not to show us the graphic until we maybe chewed on it a little bit. So who do you got? There are a lot of good choices.
Yeah, K-Line comes to mind.
Greenberg comes to mind.
Yeah.
So he's got the top 10 Tigers all time in terms of wins above replacement.
Tram.
I would say Trammell would be on that list. Well, Willie Horton is on that wall. There's a roller into center, and Almora's got a hit.
Attaboy Albert. Cubs have had base runners in every inning. They now have 5 hits. Just haven't been able to string anything together here, and all their hits have been singles so far.
Ty Cobb would probably be on that
he's
list.
a pretty good player.
I'm guessing he's number 1.
Yeah. Don't forget about Ty Cobb. How about Heine Manouche? Or Sam Crawford?
Mickey Cochran. He managed them too.
Charlie Gehringer.
Okay, Gehringer. Yeah, we've got a good list. Outside for a ball, 1-1 on Hayward. I'm trying to figure out if Cabrera's been here long enough, because I would be tempted to put Miguel Cabrera on that list. Good lead by Albert. Look out. That was a shot. Foul to right.
You know, we talked earlier about struggling hitters and the tendency to press and how you try to leave yesterday in the rearview mirror and look forward, focus on today. So the nature of the sport. And I think the same thing applies to managers. We talk so much about the idea that you need to, do something differently because your ball club's struggling. We got to start some base runners. We got to do this. Only if it makes sense, right? You don't want to start running into outs. You don't want to run when the opportunity is there. This group right here, Zimmerman, this tandem, Zimmerman McCann, are really good at defending the running game.
Right, you don't want to be reckless.
Yeah, and sometimes you see guys on the bases will start to just try to take extra bases when they shouldn't. Cubs have been pretty good this year about being aggressive but not reckless.
Zimmerman had not been throwing the ball well. A .585 over his previous 6 starts.
Bunch of home runs.
Pop fly to left. Matuk makes the grab for out number 2. So let's do the top 10 Tigers offensive wins above replacement.
It's like David Letterman, their top 10 list.
So Cobb far and away the winner. Al Kaline is in the ballpark tonight. You mentioned Gehringer, Whitaker and Trammell, Harry Heilman, Sam Crawford, the great Hank Greenberg, Norm Cash. We did not mention him.
Norm Cash, underrated player.
Miguel Cabrera.
Norm had close to 400 home runs in his career.
Right. Baez with a high one bouncer actually to Goodrum, and that's it. So Cubs get another base runner, but the inning fizzles quickly. It's 2-0 Detroit in the 5th. Fifth inning against Kyle Hendricks, who has settled in, but after he gave up 2 in the opening inning. Curve is low on Reyes, the center fielder. And that's past a diving Zobrist and into right. The one thing we should note about Daniel Murphy when he does arrive, he is coming back from knee surgery. I think you mentioned it earlier. Murphy got off to a pretty slow start in his return, but he's kind of back to the old Daniel Murphy. Defensively, though, not a lot of range. And I think what you might see is Murphy in the starting lineup, and I think Joe will pull strings late in games in National League parks. Especially,
yeah, certainly if you have a lead,
him out for defense.
Yeah, you're gonna make that move for defense late.
He loves hitting at Wrigley Field.
340, I believe I saw his batting average since the All-Star break.
That's interesting. I was talking with somebody here in the press box before the game, and the question was, once Murphy's in a Cubs uniform, is there a better hitter on your roster than Daniel Murphy? And when he's going well, I think the answer is no. In the air to deep right, and Hayward will play it off the wall. Candelario racing towards second, and he's in as the ball got out of the glove of Baez. Second and third for Detroit with nobody out.
I thought for a moment that Jason was going to be able to run this one down as well. He decided to back off, play the carom off the wall, throw back in as a strong one, closer at second base than I thought it was going to be. And Candelario, I think, took that one. No. Got a little bit of Javi maybe.
So we'll see what the infield does here with runners at second and third and no outs. Looks like the corner guys are pulled in. Zobrist back at second. Baez in maybe a step or two. And the pitch to Iglesias is hit down the right field line, and it's going to slice out of play. But you know, you hear the term professional hitter, right? I mean, you add Daniel Murphy to your lineup.
Yeah,
good.
I mean, yeah, he's exactly what they've been preaching all year long. He's not a high walk guy. He's maybe right around league average, but he rarely strikes out. And you know, the thing that Daniel Murphy did a couple, 2-3 years ago, he started to launch the ball. He started to hit for a lot more power. He was always a guy who would hit for average, hit a lot of line drives. Then he added the power component.
Well, Kyle's just trying to get outs here, but when you look at what's going on with this offense lately, you know he knows he can't give up much tonight. Already trailing 2-0.
Now you'd love to get the punch out here. Iglesias does not strike out that often.
Ground ball. Bodie's got it. And the runners will stay right where they are. That's the first out. And it will bring up Castellanos.
Well, we'll see what Joe decides to do here with the base open. I think they would be in pitch around here mode, see if they can get Castellanos to chase something off the plate.
Caught on the line out, and that'll do it. Wow, Reyes took off on a liner, and the Tigers don't get any.
Oh my.
What an escape job by Hendricks. Not how you necessarily dial it up, but he'll gladly take it.
No, he gives up a rocket here, but it turns into a double play.
Still 2-0. as they celebrate Hispanic Heritage Night at beautiful Wrigley Field. All participants who purchase tickets through the Community Nights page receive a Los Cubs t-shirt. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit cubs.com/communitynights. Big double play. A line out 4-5 to get out of the 5th inning. It's still 2-0. And it'll be Rizzo, Zobrist, and Schwarber here in the 6th. Zimmerman 50. Check that. Update the pitches. 76 pitches through 5. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 5 hits, and a drive to right. And it is gone. A home run. Anthony Rizzo gets the Cubs on the board. Looked like he fell down on his swing, and he just hit number 19.
Zimmerman has thrown that first pitch breaking ball a lot tonight to get the jump in the count. Anthony perhaps looking for it here. Yeah, he goes down to one knee. The swing, the drive, downward dog, and then a jog around the bases. It's a new yoga pose.
So can the Cubs get more than that? The last 4 games, the answer was no. But they are within a run. That's a big turnaround, as the Tigers were looking to not only score and pad their lead, but put up another crooked number in the bottom of the 5th, and they got nothing. That is a strong human. The 1-1 to Zobrist, and a line drive base hit. Second time he's been on tonight.
Yeah, you know, sometimes an inning like that can provide a spark for the other club, when the other team, you know, has that great opportunity and gets nothing out of it. It'll be a little bit of a, you know, a rally cry in the other dugout. Hey, let's take advantage of it. We got a big break there. Let's try to do something with it. Now, it doesn't always translate into success.
Schwarber 1 for 2.
Zimmerman has now allowed 11 home runs in his last 7 starts. He gave up 2 to the White Sox last time out.
Ball 1 to Schwarber. Okay. Good. All his home runs this year have been against right-handed pitching. So this is the moment, right? You kind of cruise through 5. You give up the homer, then the rocket single. Maybe you start to work away from contact a little bit.
Yep, you start to get a little tentative in your approach. And you put yourself into bad counts.
3-0.
This is go mode here for Schwarber. He'll have the green light for sure.
I see some scurrying out in the Tiger bullpen. Pitcher strike, 3-1.
Were they milling around before they scurried, or did they go right from sitting to scurrying? Sometimes
I might have to ponder that.
Sometimes they mill around and then they scurry. I believe that was his changeup. It was 88 miles per hour, and that's the thing. There's not a lot of separation now that he's not throwing 94 and 95 between the changeup and the fastball. And for the most part, he's 92 with the heater, and this is a changeup at 88. That's got great action. If I were him, I'd throw a whole lot of those.
Ground ball should be 2. Is 2. No! Schwarber beat it out. That was the third baseman, the pivot man, Candelario, with the shift. And he was fairly deliberate. And Schwarber hustling all the way. Make sure it's not 2.
Yeah, I think infielders underrate Schwarber's speed. Think they have a lot more time than they do. This should have been an easy double play. Really deliberate on both ends. That ball should have been charged a little bit more. Was that Iglesias or Goodrum who fielded that ground ball?
So Ron Gardenhire is challenging this call, and I think they're going to win it, and it will be 2.
Probably are going to win it.
Yeah, I hate to commit to calling out or safe before the umpire makes the call, but it looked from here like he was out. And replay, I think, will show that they just got him. So if it is a double play, it'll be of the 6-5-3 variety.
Yeah, and I think out is going to be the call, but I still contend that it was a little sloppy on the Tigers' part. It should have been a little bit more aggressive on both ends there, and credit Schwarber with busting it down the line. But if you had an umpire back in New York with a manager's sensibility, yeah, we think you got him, but we thought you were a little cavalier out there on the turn, so we're going to call him safe.
Ron Gardenhire taking over for Brad Ausmus, former longtime Twins manager, and was Torey Lovello's bench coach in Arizona last year. Here's the call. Ooh, they called him safe. Cubs will gladly take it. Wow. Maybe it's a manager in New York, like you said.
Well, tip of the cap to Kyle Schwarber, because he really fooled the Tigers infield with his speed down the line. Gardy is the winningest manager in Twins history.
Tigers lose their challenge. The batter is Bodie. First real slump of his major league career. David is 0 for his last 16. Happens to everybody. Runner takes off. Here's the throw by McCann, and it hits Kyle, so he's safe. Schwarber with his 4th steal. Ooh, back of the
real
head.
bad throw by McCann. His footwork not real clean here. He kind of recoiled on the throw a little bit. Bodie drifted over the plate a little bit, and McCann goes ahead and makes contact there. He might get an interference call.
Well, it looked like it hit him either in the back of the helmet or actually in the head. He didn't really react. Meantime, 2-0 on Bodie. And a foul strike. So the tying run is in scoring position here with 1 out. Let's see where it got
I think
Kyle.
it got him back of the helmet.
Yeah, knocked his helmet off. Yep.
He sees Goodrum start to drift, so he knows that throw's offline, and he's in the line of fire.
A fly to right field. It's deep, and it's caught. And Schwarber's got to race back to second as Castellanos gets it back in. Bodie gave it a ride, but that's out number 2. Contreras needs a hit, and his team needs him to get one here too.
Zimmerman doesn't look like he has quite the life on the fastball that he did at the start of the ball game. Always been pretty good about working both sides of the plate.
1-1 toward the middle. The Goodrum was shaded that way. And Zimmerman limits the damage. Rizzo led off the inning with a home run. And the Cubs on the board, but trail by 1 in the 6th. Throw him out. That was back in the 3rd inning, and a line out double play to end the 5th. Double play has been a big play on this road trip. Cubs tying a major league record, turning 7 in Pittsburgh on Friday night. 3-0 now on Nico Goodrum, 0 for 2.
Well, he's got a little pop, but you got to challenge him here.
Goodrum, a former Minnesota Twin, came to Detroit on a minor league deal in the offseason.
The 4 starts leading into this one, Kyle racking up 28 strikeouts against 2 walks.
Fly ball left field. Schwarber racing after it. He'll leave his feet, and he can't make the play. The ball, however, is foul. So we'll try another 3-2. Good effort.
Yeah, great effort by Schwarber. He looks a little disgusted with himself, but this is not a ball I don't think you would expect him to catch. Heck of a try. Had it in there and just couldn't quite secure it as he went to the ground. I'd say a coulda, but probably not a shoulda.
They're in a rain delay now in Chicago. Twins and White Sox in the much anticipated Michael Kopech big league debut. 2 scoreless innings for him, but they're delayed now in the second. Way up in the air to center. This is Almora. Brewers have an early lead, 4-3 over the Reds. The Reds, though, just put up those 3 runs off Junior Guerra in the 3rd inning. 4-3 Brewers.
Sal Romano for Cincinnati tonight.
Cardinals are at the Dodgers later. 2 9th-inning home runs off Kenley Jansen in his return from the DL. Won the game for the Cards last night. Bunted by Martinez. And he's 3 for 3.
Kyle thought about trying to make a play on that ball. Perhaps thought it would be an easier play for Bodie.
He was able to bunt it pretty hard because once he got it past Hendricks, he knew he had a hit. A strike on Adduci. The Corona NL Central standings. 3-game lead over Milwaukee, 3.5 over the surging Cardinals. Daniel Ponce de Leon and Hyunjin Ryu tonight in LA.
Not just Jansen, the Dodger bullpen really struggled of late. Dodgers just 3 wins in their last 10 tries. 2.5 back of the Diamondbacks. What a race. The Rockies a half a game behind Arizona.
Jim Adduci spent 07 to 2012 in the Cubs minor league system. Major league debut in 2013 with Texas. Long minor league career. He's played in Korea, Mexico, and the Dominican. He didn't get out of rookie ball in the Marlins system until his 3rd season, and that was just 2 games. He didn't get to Double-A until his 6th pro year, and by then he was with the Cubs. That's some perseverance. His dad can relate. Jim Sr., Brother Rice High School and Southern Illinois alum. Kind of had the similar journey, 11 minor league seasons. I had 1 year in Japan and a little big league time. Back to Hendricks. That'll be 2. Second line out double play the Cubs have turned tonight. 3 overall, and that'll take us into the 7th. Tight one here in Detroit, 2-1 Tigers.
board. This private porch offers a unique view of the game with both sunny and shaded areas, available in 50 to 100 blocks with unlimited beverages and access 2 hours prior to first pitch. For more information, visit Cubs.com/premier.
Right-hander Drew Verhagen, 6'6", 230-pound right-hander, takes over for Zimmerman here in the 7th inning.
He's a long fellow, 2-2, 5.71 the ERA, 35 hits in 41 innings. Walked 12, punched out 40, allowed 6 home runs. Fastball about 94. Slider, curve, and changeup he doesn't throw very often.
So the Cubs only down 1. They'll try to get it done against the Detroit bullpen.
Tigers pitchers statistically have outperformed their hitters. Team ERA 9th best in the American League. Offensively, they're down at or near the bottom in just about every category. Very right-leaning bullpen. 8 right-handed arms out there and just 1 lefty.
One and one on the DH LaStella. 2-1. The closer is Shane Green. He was on the DL when we saw the Tigers in Chicago. Strike called, 2-2.
Verhagen has spent parts of the last 5 years with the Tigers, but he's also seen minor league action in each of those 5 seasons.
Foul tip, strike 3. You can follow our Cubs insiders on NBCSportsChicago.com, presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media. Nationwide is on your side.
This run of solo home runs is really interesting for baseball historians. But beyond that, there's not a whole lot of value.
That's into left. Almora will make a big turn around first and hold with a single. No, I'm with you. I mean, you're not manufacturing runs. You're not hitting 3-run homers. You're just getting a lousy solo per day, and that's generally not enough. Won't be tonight. I didn't catch any of the Little League Classic Sunday night, but we will next year. The Cubs and the Pirates will compete in Williamsport, Pennsylvania next August 18th. That'll be fun.
You're going to slide down that hill?
Yeah.
Tradition there?
Sure. It'll be the 3rd such classic, and the 2nd time the Pirates will have been involved. They played the Cardinals last year. It was Mets, Phillies this season, and Cubs, Pirates next year. Too high on Hayward, 1-2. We want to send out congratulations to Mike Montgomery, who got married on the off day yesterday. His longtime fiancee Stephanie. So congratulations to the Montgomerys.
Wow, some guys just go play golf. He got married.
High bouncer, boys. Some hard dirt out in front of the plate here in Detroit, and Adduci will get Hayward. Tying run at second with 2 outs for Baez.
Baez with 2 knocks tonight.
Wide for ball 1.
Verhagen, a Texan, played his college ball at Vanderbilt. Got away with one there. Slider up. And Baez pulls off.
One pitch. Baez, the only guy who checked it first. Come on, Alfonso. He didn't even reply. Now, when the batter does it, you got to give an emphatic safe, right?
Alfonso's like, hey man, not my jurisdiction here.
Sean Barber should go, you really want to ask? If you insist. 3-1.
If I were Javi, I would be tempted to look for that slider again right here.
Yep, you got a good breaking ball, a strike to ball pitch, and it's 3-2. You leave it in the zone, it might end up in the seats.
Yeah, the idea that 3-1 is a fastball count, it doesn't exist anymore. 3-1, 2-0. Especially if you have power like Baez does, you're rarely going to get a fastball in the zone. They might throw one shoulder high, see if you'll chase.
Pitcher and catcher will talk it over. Hey, it's a 50th anniversary today. The guy sitting right next to me in the Tiger radio booth, Jim Price. He was the backup catcher to Bill Freehand during the Tigers' '68 World Championship season. And 50 years ago tonight, over at the corner of Michigan and Trumbull, there's Jim right there. He hit a pinch hit, game-ending home run off Wilbur Wood of the White Sox at Tiger Stadium.
Was it a knuckler that didn't knuckle?
I don't know. It was one of, I think, only 3 homers Jim hit that season. 3-2, popped up. McCann is going to have room. And the Cubs cannot score in the 7th inning. Stretch time from Detroit. Cubs trail the Tigers 2-1.
Universal Open Grand Final starting this Friday at 11 a.m. Catch the live stream all weekend long on Twitch. I have no idea what I just said.
Twitch, yeah, that's what the kids are into now.
What is Twitch?
It's an internet site where you can watch something while commenting on it. It's like a running commentary thing.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it. My son is on Twitch a lot. Yeah.
We need to have Leo come up and educate us on all this stuff.
Hendrick still working in the 7th. Matuk fouls back. I mentioned Jim Price. I got a real quick follow-up to that 68 story I just told you. That's great. The Tigers clinched the pennant while the Yankees were here in Detroit. So they already had it wrapped up. And Denny McLain was going for his 31st win. Price was catching that night. They had a 6-1 lead in the 8th inning over the Yankees. And what would end up being the final game Mickey Mantle ever played at Tiger Stadium. McLain, I guess, and this one will be dunked into center for a base hit. Called Price to the mound and said, let's give the Mick a chance to hit a home run here. I'm going to throw him a cookie. So Price went back behind the plate and said, Mick, Denny wants you to hit a home run here. What do you want? And Mick looked out at McLain and he nodded. He said, all right, give me something up and in that I can turn on. And on about the 4th pitch, Mantle hit a home run to right. And what would be the second to final homer Mantle hit in his major league career. And McLain got his 31st win that night. There's a picture of the swing in the Tiger radio booth. Is that not a great story?
Yeah, Mantle could hit that high ball. Everybody went home happy. McLain got his 31st win.
And the kicker to the story, as McCann takes a strike, is Joe Pepitone was on deck. And he walked up and knew what had happened. And he said to Price, how about you give me a chance to hit a home run? And Price said, how about you take one right between the eyes?
Tighten your shoelaces and hang on. I thought you were going to say the kicker was Denny McLain had $500 that Mantle would hit a home run that night with his bookie. Which is certainly within the realm of possibility.
No comment.
He had the exacta. A win for McLain and a home run for Mantle.
Yeah.
How about a conventional double play? 2 lineouts and 1 strike him out, throw him out.
Yeah, they haven't gotten a ground into double play. Throw to first. Close.
Got him.
Out at first is Matuk. We're in the 7th. They don't have a challenge. Matuk saying I'm safe, but the Tigers are out of challenges. He's out.
Gardy's waving him off.
Saying, I can't challenge.
Wow, Contreras, man, he's struggling at the plate, but he continues to make plays with his arm, and the Cubs may have caught a break here. Looked like the foot got back just before the tag was applied.
Doesn't matter.
No, it does not.
The 2-1 to McCann is low.
Well, they've had a man picked off first. They've had 2 guys caught, doubled off on lineouts, although difficult reads in both cases.
And a base hit to center. So McCann and Matuk with hits here in the 7th. Matuk picked off. Jesse Chavez up in the Cubs bullpen with a real cool looking cart behind him. Did you use that on the golf course yesterday?
That would be fun. I would like to own one of those. I move into one of those old retirement communities, I'm going to get me one of those golf carts just like that.
Sun City, Arizona. Yeah. Got your name all over it. Now Mora with an easy play. That's out number 2. Reyes retired for the first time in 3 turns, and it brings up Candelario, has 2 doubles tonight.
There's just not a lot of firepower in this Tigers lineup, and Kyle Hendricks not having a dominating performance, but it's looked very comfortable for him out there tonight. Gave up those 2 runs in the first without a lot of hard contact, and really been under a lot of duress. I don't think Joe's real anxious to go to the pen tonight the way Hendricks is throwing the ball.
Well, going into tonight, that 4-game series in Pittsburgh, the Cubs had a 1.23 earned run average. Kyle gave up 2 in the first, nothing since so far this evening. If they can't get a couple more runs tonight, they would drop to 2 and 3 on the trip. Joe Jimenez is up. An all-star this season. We say it a lot, but it bears repeating. Even if you're playing a team that's well under 500 like the Tigers, most teams, if you only have 6 outs to go, they've got some pretty good pitchers at the end of the ball game.
Yeah, do they have that in their notes what their record is? When most clubs put that in their notes. Tigers, and they lead after 7, are 41 and 4.
And 45 and 2 when they lead after 8. So, yeah. Swing and a miss. Nice work by Hendricks. And we head to the 8th. Still 2-1 Detroit. September 1st. Opening acts include Sam Hunt, John Party, and Carly Pierce. Tickets on sale now at Cubs.com/concerts.
So Joe Jimenez next up for the Tigers. Big right-hander pitching for the 57th time. He's 4-2 with 3 saves and a .363 earned run average. Punched out 59 and 52 innings. I think that's 222 against him.
He is from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And he'll face Rizzo to start the 8th.
Been a reliever throughout his professional career. Started in 2013 at the rookie level for the Tigers. Fastball, slider change.
Tigers shift to the pull side on the infield. Hefty home run time. Rizzo left his feet for a homer to lead off the 6th, his 19th of the season. That was off the starter, Zimmerman.
You know who's going to take just a little bit of credit for that?
Who's that?
His dad. Anthony swinging the weighted iron bar there on the on-deck circle. His dad made that for him.
His dad, John. Yeah, John and Lori are here this week. Ground ball foul to first.
And John was telling me today at the hotel that Anthony's brother is building a house. So John went over to the house, stole some rebar from the brother's house, and turned it into that weighted bat for Anthony. Yeah. He calls it the rebat.
Well, that is some good research.
First day with a new rebat, and he went deep. Yeah, John's he's got some welding skills.
Choke up here with 2 strikes. And hard to get 97 past Anthony Rizzo.
And that's what Daniel Murphy will bring to the table as well. His game plays well against all kinds of pitchers. Short stroke, covers the plate, tough to fool. Will make you work.
Carl Edwards Jr. is loosening in the Cubs bullpen. Full count to Rizzo. The pitch, he missed. Leadoff walk.
On base twice again tonight. Walk, solid single. He might be looking to go early here.
Yeah, I was going to say, might Joe pull some strings here. Candelario in on the grass at third. Ducey holds Rizzo, not running, and Zobrist takes a strike.
I thought Zoe might be really aggressive on that first pitch. He's normally very patient, but after the lead walk, a chance to do some damage, I thought he might try to ambush a fastball there. I would be stunned if he bunted here. The way he's been swinging it and the way so many behind him have not been swinging it.
Throw to second, and that'll be it. So Zobrist takes over at first for Rizzo. Kyle Schwarber 1 for 3 with a stolen base. Jesse Chavez has joined Edwards with Lester Strode watching. When they built this park, one thing they did to honor Tiger Stadium, they put the flagpole in center in play. It is now in the visitors' bullpen after they reconfigured. It is amazing when you go to Citi Field in New York and you come here and you see the old dimensions. You wonder how anybody hit a home run here.
Yeah, this is a big yard.
I mean, they put 2 bullpens out in left field, and it's still not really a hitter's park.
Certainly not a home run hitter's park, and it's played pitcher friendly. You know, between the dimensions of cold weather earlier in the year.
That back wall was the original wall.
Yeah, and I think if you're again, if you're a hitter that uses the whole field, though, you look out here and you see a lot of open space.
Throw to first. Zobrist back safely. Getting late. We're in the 8th inning, and it's 2-1 Detroit. Tigers got their runs in the first. The Cubs in the 6th on the Rizzo home run. Outside, 2-1. Now, we gave you the numbers when leading after 7, when leading after 8. Not all of those leads are equal, however. It's only a 1-run advantage for the Tigers. 3-1. Okay, some of those leads would have been 6-0.
Sure. Yep, absolutely.
5-2, but right now it's 2-1.
High leverage stuff and a 3-1 count. Schwarber's like any slugger. He's done a lot of damage on 3-1 this year. Got beat by that good heater.
A pitch to hit and fouled it back.
Just a little late getting set and didn't get the head of the bat out.
Guessing Zobrist not running here. We'll see. Not going. Swing and a miss. Good thing he wasn't. 2 down.
Pretty impressive stuff from Jimenez there, coming back from 3-1 with a couple of challenge fastballs. Kyle fouled one off and just flat out got beat by the last one.
Joe talks about moving the baseball, and the Cubs have not done a lot of that on this road trip. They have left at least one on every inning, so they've had base runners, but they haven't been able to follow it up. Oh, 2. Reds now lead Milwaukee 7-5. A 4-run 4th inning for Cincinnati. Looks like 2 big errors by the Brewers tonight, as 5 of the 7 runs unearned.
Travis Shaw has hit his 26th home run for Milwaukee. He's playing second base again tonight.
1-2 to Bodie.
When we saw the Brewers last, Shaw was playing second. It didn't look real good. Errors were on the Thames and Moustakis.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Midway in the 8th. Detroit 2 and the Cubs 1.
Visit the Authentic Fan booth inside the Gallagher Way gate and grab a pop socket while supplies last.
Jesse Chavez in after Kyle Hendricks went 7. Allowed 2 runs on 10 hits, a walk, struck out 3.
Real good effort by a Cubs starter on this road trip.
Iglesias greets him with a base hit to left. His second hit this evening.
Kyle on the wrong end of things here tonight. Showed you in our open the good work that he has done on the road of late. So a $198 over his last 4 road starts, 7 innings of 10 hits. But again, not a lot of hard contact. A couple of runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts through strike 1 to 20 of the 28 men he faced tonight.
Oh, 0-1 on Castellanos.
Kind of ironic, really. Some of the hardest contact off Hendricks tonight turned into outs.
Castellanos, 26 years old, originally a third baseman. Coming off a huge week, honored as the AL Player of the Week. He's got the go-ahead RBI tonight on a ground out in the first inning. He's the best offensive player in this lineup tonight, although Victor Martinez has 3 hits. Outside for a ball. It's 2-1. Right center, Almora will get there. The Cubs are introducing game-changing new premier experiences at Wrigley Field with seats holding prime views and access to an exclusive club and first-class amenities. These new premier experiences will allow fans to enjoy Cubs baseball and America's most majestic ballpark in a whole new way. Visit CubsPremier.com to join the Premier Client Priority List.
Jesse is celebrating a birthday. He turned 35 today.
Happy birthday. Born on this date in 1983. He debuted in the big leagues 6 days after his 25th birthday. So that 10-year anniversary is coming up.
Been around a long time.
Yeah, the 10-year anniversary is a big deal. The biggest deal, though, is service time, right? You get to that magic 10 years. I think he'll be at over 8 years of service time following this season.
Yeah, well, for pension purposes, 10 years is as good as 20.
So you max out
at 10. Yeah. Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Kansas City, Toronto, Oakland, back to Toronto, Dodgers, Angels, Rangers, Cubs. He's made a lot of friends in the game.
Yeah, you embrace the journey. With a strong family behind you as well, especially when you get traded in the middle of a season. End up scrambling. Broken bat for Goodrum on a foul. Got to figure out maybe to get your car to the next place, your clothes, what do you do with your apartment you're leasing? You stay at a hotel. How long are you going to be at that next stop? There's a lot of things to figure out. And it's the fourth time in his career he has changed big league teams mid-season. So he could probably write a manual about it.
Yeah.
That hurt as Goodrum down to a knee. So in your experience, either minor league promotion or trade mid-season or a release and a signing, what was the hardest thing of all of that stuff I mentioned to figure out?
Yeah, probably the year I went to camp with Oakland in '92 and didn't make the club, and then I was scrambling for a job, and I crisscrossed the country. I went back to Florida for a little while and didn't work out there. Then went back to Arizona.
So it's that uncertain period where you're not sure where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Called strike three. MLB.TV now available at a lower price for $49.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game. Plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer.
But I think I was willfully ignorant, if that's the right term, or just kind of Alfred E. Newman, like what me were. I just, didn't have the sense that my career was in any kind of crisis. This will be all right. This will be fun. We're bopping around here. And
that's a good attitude. Swing and a miss by Martinez.
Probably the biggest crisis is when I locked my 2-year-old daughter Molly in the van in Florida outside the Holiday Inn. They were putting us up in Haines City. That was not fun.
Fly ball should be handled. It is Almora. And here comes the ninth. It'll be Contreras, La Stella, and Albert Dew against Shane Green. we're going with a double play ball, and not necessarily the ground out double play. Strike him out, throw him out, and line out double plays turned by the Cubs. Binny's Beverage Depot is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. But right now, Kyle Hendricks would be on the hook for the loss if the Cubs cannot get to Shane Green here in the ninth.
26 saves and 29 tries for the right-hander, a .386 ERA. Strikeout per. And a very good strikeout to walk ratio. He has allowed the 7 home runs.
Facing Contreras. Showed bunt, pulled it back, took a strike on a cutter. Looking for his 27th save. Here's the pitch. Fly to right. And run down by Castellanos. That brings in La Stella for the 4th time.
Mid to upper 90s heater. Cutter at 88, slider at 81, 82 for Green. $26,638. The paid crowd here at Comerica Park. As we said, a lot of Cub fans have made the trip. A lot of Cub fans in Western Michigan. I'm sure many are here from Indiana. There might be a few from Windsor across the river. 1-2 on Tommy. We've got Cub fans in Sarnia. Sarnians love the Cubs.
Yeah, London, Ontario. Here's the pitch to first. A Ducey unassisted. And the Cubs down to their final chance. It'll be Albert Almora. Watching us tonight at the DeKalb Fire Department, hoping the Cubs can rally here with 2 outs in the ninth. The pitch, ball 1 low.
Tigers, for the most part tonight, have been shading the other way in the outfield for the right-handed hitters. More room to the pull side in the gap. Eight hits for the Cubs tonight. The Rizzo home run and 7 singles. It's been a big part of the narrative here lately. Just the 1 home run per day, but beyond that, just not doing really slugging, backing up any outfielders.
Well, Daniel Murphy will be showing up at a good time to help an offense that needs a bit of a jump start. 2-1 on Almora. Three and 1. There's a chance. Almora's on. 2-out walk.
Green probably feels a little double-crossed. I'm sure their scouting report on Almora was, hey, doesn't walk much. You don't have to give in. Good disciplined approach that time for Albert, and a chance for Hayward here, who's nothing for 4 tonight. And they are deep, deep, deep in the outfield.
And Reyes can barely see him out in center. Oh, and 1. Look how deep Matuk is in the outfield. He's just a step or 2 from the track as well. Green sets, now throws, and that is lined softly foul. It's 0-2 on Hayward. Lester and Liriano tomorrow night to end the trip. Here it comes. He missed high and wide. 96 on the fastball from Green. Almora with a medium lead at first. Got a backdoor breaker, and it missed outside. Home fans didn't like it, but clearly the right call. 2-2. Framed pretty well by McCann.
Well off the edge. A lot of managers have gone away from guarding the line in these situations, especially on the off field, and Tigers are not guarding the line at third base. You can make the same case about playing no doubles in the outfield sometimes too. What's a more likely outcome here, double Hayward or back-to-back singles to score the tying run?
Two. Hayward will not go down without a fight. Especially when you get to 2 strikes, maybe a bit more defensive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I would certainly play deep. I just don't know, especially in the off field, if I would play as deep as they're playing here. A little flare base hit to left from Hayward. That brings Baez up with a couple guys on base.
Another 2-2 pitch. This one hit hard and foul. I'm not sure Ducey had any idea where that ball was off the bat at first base.
Just locked up?
Yep.
He is guarding the line, so he just like a half a step off the bag as the pitch is being delivered.
2-2 again. Fouled again. Eight pitches and counting in this sequence.
Oof. A little bit surprised McCann hasn't gotten out there to talk to him. I think they would try to just bounce a breaking ball here. Hayward's been good on fastballs. Early in the year, breaking pitchers were giving him all kinds of problems.
That'll do it. So the Cubs' offensive struggles continue for the 5th consecutive game to start this trip. All they get is a solo home run. And the final score, Detroit 2 and the Cubs 1.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. I mean, teams go into slumps, obviously, but just the nature of this one with the one solo home run. It's easy to identify the problem, much tougher to fix it. Hopefully Daniel Murphy will be part of the solution when he arrives here tomorrow, but it's going to take obviously more than that. But the positive, another outstanding start from the Cubs starting pitcher. Kyle Hendricks tonight was really good. The starters, aside from the rough one for Tyler Chatwood, have been very good on this road.